around. Kevin Warren sounded and looked annoyed. A lot of people saying it sure feels like he's been sort of neutered or had his wings clipped, I guess you might say. I don't know what his role is in all this going forward. I mean, obviously draft, personnel things. Not sure he's going to pick the coach. They had a tough time answering that. I think eventually Kevin Warren and a bunch of word salad got to, if there's differing opinions, Ryan is this and that, but they had a tough time answering that question. It feels like it's Kevin Warren running the show. Okay, good luck. Hope you get it right. He's accomplished nothing to this point while on the job for the Bears. They don't know where they're building the stadium. They don't know how they're paying for it. He's made friends with the mayor who might not even be long for the mayor's office, let's face it.
Oh, he's a one-termer.
I don't know what he's done, what he thinks he's accomplished. Now he's adding this, sure feels like, to his slate of things to do. And you'd figure in about the next month or 6 weeks, the Bears will have a permanent head coach going forward. If I'm the Bears, I cast a pretty wide net. Some people say that's bad because you start to forget about, well, what was this guy good at and what was he bad at? If you interview 10 people, are you muddying the waters a little bit? I don't know. I'd interview a lot of people and try for once in your life, George McCaskey, get this one right. Get this hire right.
I interview 4 candidates, including the offensive coordinator, which then make 5.
Is that what you would do? You kind of cap it?
4 or 5, that's what I'm interviewing. I identify who my top guy is. I make him a massive offer to come in here and be the head coach here. Thomas Brown's a head coach. That's what he does. He's got the players, who he is. He's got to get him to play the best football he can. Ryan Poles is responsible for getting the players in town. That includes the scouting at the college level and at the professional level, which are professional scouts. Looking at every other NFL team to see who may or may not become available as you start moving into the future. The president, theoretically, is in charge of all of them in any hierarchy that you would have. And if he's in charge of putting a stadium somewhere, the sooner he figures out that it's not going to happen on the lakefront and chooses either between the Michael Reese Hospital situation or over in Arlington Heights, the sooner the Chicago Bears will be to putting a shovel in the ground. And that's where you find yourself at, and that's what you're going to do. Do I trust the Bears to pick the correct head coach? No. Absolutely not.
Sadly.
Absolutely not. I don't expect them to get the right head coach. Absolutely not. Can I trust them to get the right players? Now, that's what I'm hoping for.
Maybe? Are you a maybe on that?
That's a maybe, yes, but it's what I'm hoping for. There's a future in being able to get the right players. Understand what you're not good at. Find somebody who's good at it. And let them help you select the players that you're at. You got a staff, a lot of scouts, I assume, and a lot of pro scouts. Identify the people that come in here and help this team win. They got a core. Nobody asks, who's the core? Right? I heard that we got a core of guys. We got a core. Who's the core? Is it your leadership council?
The captains stay the same, by the way. I don't know if that leadership council does the same thing.
Is that the core? My leadership council is the core? Oh, boy.
No, I don't think so. I mean, come on. That's like Mercedes Lewis is on that leadership council.
And if Thomas Brown doesn't know what the problem is, Ryan Poles don't know what the problem is. When you don't have an offensive lineman or a defensive lineman on your leadership council, I can tell you exactly where your problems are at. I know where your problems are at. You don't need to be a genius to understand where your problems are at.
How could they not know that? You said it the minute it happened. 7 seconds after they announced the captains in the summer, you said that. This isn't hindsight. Jurko said it 7 seconds after we saw the list. Chris and Adam read them off, and Jurko said, wait a minute, there's not an O lineman or a D lineman?
Yeah.
How come you can see it so clearly, and every other player can see it so clearly, and they can't?
And 2 tight ends.
And 2 tight ends.
What?
One that plays 6 snaps a game.
Jeez. And that's where you find yourself, the Chicago Bears.
No more divisions is what Thomas Brown said. No more divisions.
No AFC North?
No
AFC North? No more divisions? How the hell are we going to play football?
Divisions within their locker room, because it sounds like a problem. And it sounds like it's been a problem for weeks. And it sounds like Jalen Johnson had enough on Thursday.
Right. Leadership council, right?
Yeah, well.
Yep. Be careful who your leaders are. Because when the bow breaks,
bad man,
the cradle will fall.
Making bad bums. Yeah. He is going to coach on the field. Thomas Brown will. He will call plays. Chris Beatty has been elevated from wide receivers coach to the offensive coordinator and will assist in game planning, but of course, Thomas Brown will continue to call the plays, and Eric Washington will call the defense. Matt's in Streamwood on ESPN 1000. Hey, Matt.
Hey, Carmen and Jurko, thanks for taking my phone call. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving. May I say something about Thomas Brown? I do feel that this guy is going to be the toughest head coach that we have. He got no one on the staff. That's none of these assistants or coaches are none of his. He was never asked about any personnel or no people on the field, but they asked him to do a job. And I believe, you guys, that he can get 2 or 3 wins from this team. I see something in him that this team has not had in the head coaches. And so I hope, that it just says something about especially for Eric Washington and John Hoke and Chris Morgan and Richard Hightower, that they've been here, for 3, not Eric Washington, but those other 3 have been here for 3 years. And they were not asked by Kevin Warren or Ryan Post to take over, but they saw something in this guy, Thomas Brown, that's something about them, that he has a leader or something, a leader of men or whatever they want to say, but that it just means something to them. And so they better be behind. So for the assistant coaches, you better be behind Thomas Brown right now. So if you're not for the Bears organization and not behind Thomas Brown, then get the hell out, because they did it before. They fired Shane Waldron. They fired Matt Eberflus. They fired Luke Gessie. So any assistants, you're not above them. So that goes for them. So I'm just saying, I hope you guys, that at the end of the year, when they ask Thomas Brown, how'd you do it? How'd you get, got these personnel that we never asked your opinion on, or the players or the head assistant coaches, how'd you make it work? And if he does make it work, he should be the first and last interview that they do for the head coach, because there's nothing that he wanted, nothing that he was given, but he was given a task to do is to be a head coach. And so if I hear Carmen Jurko, you tell me, or Waddle and Sylvie tell me that they made the head coach do that stupid Super Bowl interview that they made Bruce Arians and Mark Trestman do and John Fox about no. What they need to do for any head coach that comes in, show them the last 3 years under Matt Eberflus. What would you do different in this Washington game? What would you do different in the Green Bay game?
Yeah.
And what would you do different in the Minnesota game?
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. How do you manage a clock? Yeah. Figure that out. Ask the next coach that instead of doing mock press conferences. Ed's in Plainfield. Hey, Ed.
Guys, I'm so irritated. So based on what you said, Carm, first off, the new interim definitely sounds smarter than anyone else in the room.
He was clearly the most impressive today, right?
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah. He makes Eberflus in 18, guys, needs to listen to Thomas Brown speak, because the ums and ahs with 18 annoy the crap out of me. But anyway, not why I called. Poles has been Rick Hahn. He's been kneecapped. Yeah. It's a joke. If what Cap said is true, we've Bears our best asset in Ryan Poles. And Carm, you've nailed numerous times. A GM doesn't hit on everything. So was I pissed that he gave up a 2 for Claypool and he struck out on the line? Yes, of course. But he's also gotten us the number 1 pick overall. I flip-flopped so many times on Poles that I now think I've gone from wanting him gone, which a bunch of my friends know, to being back on his side based on what I heard this morning, because he comes from a winning organization who seems to know what the hell he's doing. The worst thing that Kevin Warren, who I'm going to call Crane Kenny Warren from now on, did today, he said, we're going to collaborate on the next coach. Stay the hell away from it. Go focus on the stadium. Let the man who's in the GM position, who was hired before you, Kevin Warren, do his freaking job. Stop talking about tradition for a team where, if you look at their record holders, most of them are held by guys without face masks.
That's right.
And wearing leather helmets, you jackass. Shut the hell up. Get out of the way and let Poles do his job. Later.
Thanks, Ed.
I like it, Ed.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah,
and only the way you can say it, Ed.
Talk about tradition. I mean,
beautiful.
You got a quarterback who's breaking rookie passing records from a guy named Chuck and Charlie O'Rourke.
Chuck.
He was number 66, a quarterback.
Yep. No face mask.
What does that tell you? Didn't have a face mask on.
It means he was a linebacker.
They talk about the history.
When he had to go play defense, it means he was a linebacker. That's what it means.
It definitely feels and sounds like Ryan Poles was completely clipped. I don't think Ryan Poles had ever hired Matt Eberflus. I've been pretty consistent on that from what I'd heard over the last couple of years. I said it relatively soon after he got this job. It was Ted. From what I'd heard, it was Ted Phillips and George McCaskey. That's who hired Matt Eberflus. They said, this is the coach. No. Ryan, you can have this job. This is the coach. Don't think he ever wanted him. Now, he went to bat for him. And I'm not sure why he did that, unless, again, earlier this year he was being told. Maybe that's why he was so pissed off today. Maybe he's like, I wish they all knew the real story, because I was telling them what a lot of us have said. Wait a minute. We could talk to Jim Harbaugh. We could talk to Bill Belichick. We could talk to Mike Vrabel. We can talk to Ben Johnson. Guys, we should do that. Nope. Maybe that's why he was so pissed today. I don't know. But Waddle and Sylvie talked about it on Friday. Remember his comment when he was talking in January? Again, you can re-rack January. Kevin Poles, re-rack it. He said the exact same things 11 months ago about a guy they just had to fire now. Singing the praises 11 months ago, firing him over the weekend. What did Ryan Poles say about Jim Harbaugh? Why would we talk to Jim Harbaugh? He's the coach at Michigan. Well, maybe you should have.